Well, it may not be college baseball season as we wind things down in fall ball, but I'm going to tell you what, there's a lot of things going on here at Randall R. Sadler Stadium as the Earlham baseball team, the defending champions of the HCAC regular season and the tournament champions, moving on to the regional last year. And I know it's kind of odd, we're talking baseball right now, but we've got some news for all of you as well. If you haven't been to the stadium lately, there are lights now, which is the latest transformation here at Randall R. Sadler Stadium. And head coach Steve SAKOSITS is kind enough to take a little time out of his day to join us, even though he made fun of my shirt, which is a brand new Radio Troy shirt.
Didn't make fun of it at all. I actually congratulated you on such a beautiful shirt. So I don't know what you're talking about.
Hey, listen, get serious here for a minute. Let's talk about the lights, because you guys, I mean, the dream is starting to come even more true for you guys. I mean, you had a great year last year. You go to the regional, you win championships, and this year you got lights. And not a big deal for a lot of people, but when you look at this ballpark now, it just kind of brings it all together.
I think it's definitely, the ballpark looks a lot different when you look at the lights being out there. It really makes it look like a stadium now. Yeah. We can't wait to get to use those when we get to use them in the spring. It was a big addition for us. You know, the conference made a change where we're playing 18 conference games now instead of 27. And so with that, we're playing doubleheaders in the midweek.
Yeah.
And so with doubleheaders in the midweek, instead of our kids having to play games at 12 o'clock, now we can move those doubleheaders back to 4 or 5 or 6 o'clock. And our kids are staying in class, our opponents are staying in class longer. It allows us to play at night. Now we don't have to worry about any game going late in extra innings and not having enough light for it. So it's a huge add for us. We're very thankful for Randy and Melissa Sadler and the work of Ava Stewart and Mike Burgum to also help us be able to push this project forward. It really happened very quickly for us to get it. But as Earlham has since I've been here, they've said, what else do we need to make this program one of the best in the country? And we felt like this was the thing that we needed to add to help our students both on the field and in the classroom, and it's going to be great once we get to use them this year.
Now, when you mentioned what got it first started, because you and I talked about this previously, if there were a couple of areas you'd still like to see happen, one of those was the lights. Is that kind of where it really began? Not in our conversation, but you knew this was something that you wanted to happen a long time ago.
It was. The push was really never there to get them right away, because I wanted us to get other things out here that I thought we needed. The building, the locker room, the video board, the external fencing, all that stuff that we have I thought was important at the time. When the conference made the change that we were going to go to the possibility of an 18-game conference schedule, it made me think about how can we keep our kids in class and focus on there. With the hosting the conference tournament last year, we had obviously beautiful weather, it was worked out great. We'd like to be able to host that thing a lot, and the NCAA tournament. And to be able to have the NCAA tournament, you have to have lights to do that. Another reason why we got it. And it's definitely going to be something that's really going to help our on-field practices now and games. If we are supposed to play at a certain time and the weather looks poor to start, we can always push everything back now and not have to worry about darkness being the factor of why we can't get that game. And so it's going to be a huge help for our program. One I'm very excited about getting, and I think it was the right time to do it.
And you had a couple of games last year that got a little bit late. I remember those very well, and there was concern whether you're going to get those completed. So that is a big help. But you mentioned the practice too. I mean, there are times where maybe sometime in the evening you can practice now, which has got to be great for you guys.
Yeah, I think with our kids, I know they're excited that once the lights come in, they want to take BP on the field and see it that way. I know they're excited about it, but it does allow us to do different things. If we have poor weather throughout the day and it doesn't look like it's going to clear up till 6 p.m., well, now we can go at 6 p.m. if we have to. But ideally, it just is just a great add for us to help our kids stay in class as long as possible.
I kind of think back when this was nothing but an open field, and there was a old softball diamond out there when I first came here, and I just look around now and think about how far this has come. It's almost beyond your belief sometimes, isn't it?
It is. What's more amazing, it's only 5 years.
Yeah.
It's really only 5 years since we've had this thing. And we've put the numbers together. Since we've had the field, we've had 106 wins since we've opened the field up. That's 26.5 per season. So we've really had a lot of success. Last year, I think we were 19-3 at home. This year, we're playing 25 of our 40 games at home. Next year, 26 of our 40 games at home. I don't know if you remember our last year that we were playing at McBride Stadium. the year prior and that year, we played 39 consecutive road games.
Yes, I remember.
So with having this, we barely go on the road now. And so it's amazing atmosphere to play college baseball out here. To think it's only 5 years, it seems like we've been here forever, but we haven't. And how new it still looks. You know,
Yeah.
our kids take a lot of pride in this facility. They take care of it. They take care of the locker room. They do a great job of what other people have been lucky enough to give us and to allow us to have. They take good care of that.
Yeah, you do too. I mean, you're a big part of this too, and I know this is kind of your baby, they say, because you're the one that got this thing rolling, and I know you take a lot of pride in this facility, and you should.
I definitely do. You know, I was brought up that if someone gives you something, you make sure you thank them for that.
Yeah.
And this whole started from a thank you to Randy Sadler from an initial check of $500 to help our program out to where we're at right now. And I make sure our kids every single day know we're going to take pride in what we have here. From taking our shoes off when we walk in this building, the same thing in the locker room. But I think it has to come from the top down. As I expect my kids to do certain things, I myself have to do them as well.
Yeah.
And so that's what we try to emphasize to our kids, that we're going to do everything the right way in this program, from how we treat people off the field to how we do things on the field.
But when you mentioned, by the way, as we look outside, a beautiful day for the players to get out and work out a little bit, which is another advantage to being here. When you mentioned that if there is a possibility that this could be maybe a central location for the HCAC tournament one of these days, could be a central location for maybe a regional type tournament one of these days, that's something in the future too, right?
Yeah, we're working to put the bid in for the NCAA tournament to try to get that. We're going through the paperwork right now just to see what else we need to make sure we have everything set up for. And the big thing was they love to have turf to be able to go to play, and lights are the big thing for them. So we're going to work through that process and give ourselves the best opportunity to try to host that thing. We think it'd be great for not only our program, but for Earlham College itself, getting ourselves out there. We are a great location for the conferences that would come here. The Mideast region is around this area with the NCAC, HCAC, OAC, the PAC conference where, you know, Thomas More and those schools are in. We've got a lot of conferences that we could feed right this way to come this way. So we're putting the work in to do it. You know, I still have to try to convince all the HCAC coaches that, because right now the conference regular season champion hosts the tournament. Well, I'm saying, don't you guys worry about that. We'll just have it here every single year. So, but we're expecting to win it every year, the regular season, so it happens that way anyway.
Yeah,
So
that's why
let's
kill
go
two
with
birds
that.
with one
Yeah,
stone.
why
I
not?
agree with that. You know what? Speaking of that, you guys had a great year last year, and I still look back at the celebration and coming up next month, in the month of November, the celebration, the ring celebration for all those that took part in this. I know you have to be really excited about that too, and just all that hard work you guys put in.
Yeah, that will be an amazing night, not only to have yourself and a lot of the administration and the people that backed us that weren't on the field, but also having those players that graduated last year, have them back on campus. We do our banquet a little bit different than other teams do it. We do our banquet where we celebrate last year's team and introduce this year's team. And we get both parts of the family together so that the players who graduated can meet the new players who are here realize what these players did in front of them that left this program. So we're excited about that ring day. We have a lot of other awards we have to give out, through the awards from the HCAC to our team awards. I'm excited to see you MC it again, because you get to dress up, and we never get to really see you dressed up. But it's going to be a great time.
Little does he know I have this in a suit too, so that'll be interesting to see. What else will you want to see happen here? Speaking of this stadium, and you got the lights now, what's next?
Yeah, you know, it's tough to say. We have a lot of things out here that are great for us. We'd love to see, I hate to say an indoor facility out here, but a facility where we're able to cover our cages and we're able to use it in any kind of weather. Right now, if it rains, we could hit inside, we can hit in the cages, or we can hit on the field because of the turf. But if we had something that was covered, we could be out here throughout the year. We could be in the wintertime, our kids could hit in here. We can run the practices out here. We can do all that stuff. So I don't think it's out of the range or the realm of reality to get something like that, but I'd say that's probably the next need of the program. We've got a lot of things. I mean, if this was it, we're very pleased with what we've gotten and what we're going to keep working towards, but you can always improve. Seating as well. I'd like to have some more seating out here. We, in fact, did actually ask our players at the end of the fall meetings what would they like to see out here, and so they gave us some ideas, because we want our players to be part of this. You know, the same reason why we're sitting in this room right now with the furniture we have in here. It's because my team early on said this is what they wanted, so we fundraised for the stuff that was in here. So we want our kids to make sure that they're leaving their fingerprint on what's going on in this place as well.
And you've said this time and time again that the team last year was certainly a build-up. That championship was so many teams before that, because the tradition now and the expectation now is that Earlham baseball is going to be a contender and going to be a winner every year.
Absolutely. You look at the last 4 years we've had here, from Ryan McCray and those kids' class, where they were the first winning team in 43 years, to the next year, which was last year's graduate class, their freshman year. That was the year we made it to the conference tournament for the first time. And then the next year we went to the championship for the first time. And then last year we went to the championship, won the regular season, won the postseason, went to the NCAA tournament, won our first game. So when we're talking to recruits right now, we're saying what we've done in 4 years, within your 4 years, what can we do? Because we really have goals and aspirations to win a national championship. And a lot of people look at the idea of that and they say it's kind of far-fetched. But when you see what we have here, they see the academics we're selling and the facility and the atmosphere that we have for our baseball program, it's not far-fetched to really believe we can do it. And I think we can. If what we've done in 4 years, what we can do in another 4 years is going to be pretty special as well.
Yeah, I agree. Well, and you know what? And you've set the table now. And like I said, those are the expectations. I don't think a national championship is far-fetched at all. You go to the regional last year and you beat the #1 seed in your regional right out of the gate. So it kind of gives me an indication you're on the right track.
Absolutely, and we want our kids to understand that. We want our kids to know that we were that close to get it last year, and we're going to do everything we can in the near future to get that for our program, because we want each senior class that's here to try to outdo the class that was in front of them.
Yeah. All right, before I let you go, you have some new faces. You lost a great group of guys off that team last year. You have some new faces out here. Give us kind of a sneak peek for next spring. What do you see?
See a lot of guys competing for a lot of spots. We did graduate, position player-wise, 5 position players that left here either as a career record holder or a single-season record holder, so that's going to be really tough to replace. I think we're going to play differently in the fact that we are not going to have the long ball power this year. We're still going to run. We're going to play some very good defense. On the mound, I think we can be very scary. But we have to have a lot of things go our way and work really hard for us to get to where we want to go to, because we're not there yet. I'll tell you that right now. We've got a lot of work to do, but we've got a group that wants to work. They want to put the work in. Everything they're doing now in the off season is on their own. They're doing it themselves, weight training and baseball workouts. That's all on them.
Yeah.
And we've got a group here that's motivated, dedicated, and you don't win just by putting the work in on the regular practice hours. You put the work in on the extra time, early work, late work, and these guys are willing to do that. So I'm excited for this group to go out there. It's going to be a different type of baseball we play. We're going to still play hard and run and do all the stuff we did. We don't have the middle of the order. We don't have a Laird and Elkis and a Barger and those guys to rack up 3-run home runs and put some coins in the bank there for us early. We got to do it a different way, but I'm excited to find out how we do it.
Yeah. By the way, and before I let you go, in the banquet last year, and I shared this story with all of you guys, that I was running by the ballpark and there was a single player down here in your cage, and it reminded me at that time that winning championships does, when you put in that extra time, that's when nobody else is around and nobody else is watching, your work ethic is what really, I think, pulls that team through, and I thought that's kind of what happened last year. Would you agree?
Absolutely. I talk all the time to our recruits and our players about internal motivation. I can be out there with you and you can work and I can see externally what it looks like you're doing, but internally only you know how hard you're working.
Yeah.
We're hoping that we establish what the expectation is in this program, where our guys say, coach is here, I want to work one way, but when coach is not here, I'm going to work even harder because I have goals that I want to get to, and I believe in the goals that we as a team are going to get to. We mention all the time, it's we and not the me. It's about what we do as a team, not what I do as a player. We want to make sure we are all doing, because if you do well, I do well, and it's vice versa on that. So we've got a group that's motivated, dedicated, and I'm excited for the maroon and white to go out there this year and really go out there and compete on keeping our championship here in Richmond.
And by the way, when we get to next spring, I'm really excited to talk about your schedule. As you said, it changes with the 18 games instead of the 27 games, so that whole thing's going to be a lot different. It's going to be a lot of fun. All right, my last thing is for everyone. If you haven't come out here, and I had somebody tell me the other day they had no idea this was out here, which was mind-boggling to me because I thought it was a baseball person, but you come out here now, you can come on by the ballpark. You don't even have to come in to see how nice it is, but maybe if Steve's around or whatever, he'll have you come on in and just kind of look at this place because it's amazing, and the lights. I was out on Test Road, and you can see the lights from out there.
Okay.
I can't wait to see that when they're lit up and out in the country and seeing it coming this way. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So.
When you're on by the Wellness Center, too, you see up that hill,
Yeah.
and before you saw the monster, now you see lights. I mean, It's unbelievable. You always have green out there when you see the turf. Now you have lights, and I can only imagine when we turn those things on, it's dark, and that field's going to pop.
Yeah.
The excitement for our players, our fans to be out here in that atmosphere, it's going to be an amazing place to play, and that's what we're trying to do. We're recruiting kids to do the exact same thing. They want to be playing one of the best baseball programs and at one of the best institutions academically in the country. Earlham College is that place.
I agree. Coach, good to see you again.
Thanks a lot, man.
All right, as always, I wanted to get a chance to talk to Coach SAKOSITS because I was excited to see the lights up as quickly as they happen as well. And I know we still have basketball to go through, but I'm excited for baseball as well. And I want to remind you, we'll have, of course, next year's games, as always, right here on Radio Troy Digital Sports. Thanks for being with us. We'll see you next time.
One thing, though,
Oh,
if
sorry.
you want to
Yes.
buy a T-shirt, you go to radiotroy.com and put your size in there, and the password to get the discount is Troy.
Hey, I got to tell you something, though. When I said, what size shirt do you wear? He says, what was your line? Tell him what your line was.
Was it for casual?
No,
or was
yeah, is this casual? I'm like, well, what else would it be for? You know, you almost gave me that look like.
Well, this is coming from the same guy who just said he's wearing a tuxedo based on our banquet in the same thing. So
Would this look
you
pretty
can
good
understand
in a tuxedo?
my
It would look good in a
quandary.
tuxedo.
It would.
So I wonder what those gold shirts you guys had. That I keep trying to get stuff off of him. So listen, I'll see you later. Hey, thanks for being with us. Earlham Baseball coming up soon. Check out the website, goearlham.com, for more baseball information throughout the entire season. And we'll see you next time right here on Radio Troy Digital Sports.